Hello, my name's Christopher Suckling, and today I will be giving a presentation around the Preventing Plastic Pollution project, with a specific focus on the Tamar Catchment area. So the Preventing Plastic Pollution project, or PPP, is a Interreg-funded France Channel England project with 18 organisations involved from across France and England. Preventing plastic pollution seeks to understand and reduce the impact of plastic pollution, bringing people and experts from different fields together to find appropriate and effective solutions to the problem of plastic pollution. From source to sea, we are aiming to identify and target hotspots for plastic, embed behaviour change and implement solutions and alternatives. So the project has been running since January 2020 and will end in approximately March 2023, with the final deadline for funding, etc., to be June 2023. So the project has 18 organisations from across England and France, including a real variety of organisations from local authorities to research institutes to universities. So we have a real diverse range of partners with expertise in plastic. So specifically within the Tamar Catchment, the Tamar Catchment includes and encapsulates Plymouth City Centre, the water around Plymouth, including the Plymouth Sound, and includes all of the Tamar and Upper Tamar areas, going from across South Hams to Cornwall to wider Devon area. And within the Tamar catchment, the partners involved are Plymouth City Council, where I am from, the University of Plymouth, the Environment Agency, and West Country Rivers Trust. We are called the Tamar Catchment, and there are 7 pilot catchments across the project, 4 in England and 3 in France. So just for a little bit of background, the problem of plastic pollution. So why is plastic a problem? Oils, gas and coal are the fossil fuels building blocks of plastic, which release powerful greenhouse gases through not only production but also distribution and disposal. So essentially plastic is a contributor to climate change, which is a really pressing and growing problem in our current society. Plastic also contains toxic chemicals which increase the chances of diseases. Plastics often, when they're found in the ocean and marine environment, can be small enough for animals to ingest or large enough to cause entanglement, which causes problems for the ecosystems within the marine environments. Some plastics, such as fishing lines, can also take up to 600 years to biodegrade, meaning that the same way we are finding historic evidence from 600 years ago during the reign of the Tudors, for example, in 600 years' time, people will be finding our plastic bottles and end-of-life fishing line. So experts also predict that by 2050 there will be more plastic than fish in the world's ocean, which just, really solidifies the fact that plastic pollution is a really growing problem within our society. I'm now going to talk about a little bit about what's going on within the Plymouth area of the Tamar Catchment. For a little bit of background, the project is divided into 3 work packages. The first of these work packages is Understanding Plastic Pollution. So for Plymouth City Council and the Plymouth area, within this work package, our efforts towards reducing and understanding plastic pollution are specifically focused around surveying and detailing the extent and composition of macroplastic pollution in the Tamar area. So working with different organisations, the Rivers Trust have helped to develop a really detailed map which shows, as the image on the right demonstrates, the concentration of the predicted areas where plastic pollution can be found. This was created by using GIS data to compile the likely hotspots of where plastic pollution can be found. And then this is a really useful resource to identify the potential areas that would be hotspots for finding plastic pollution on land, and also how they would be getting into the ocean. So from this hotspot map, Plymouth City Council identified certain areas within Plymouth to survey and do litter picks to detail the composition of plastic pollution to essentially validate the hotspot map. The next work package is removing plastic pollution. Plymouth City Council is a much larger partner in this work package. So over 2021, we are and were running over 40 litter picking and engagement events. These events were used in conjunction with the surveying and composition analysis of the hotspot locations within the area, as identified in the first work package. And also used to help actually physically remove some of the plastic from the marine environment and engage different members of the public. So far to date, and to date meaning the beginning of September, when this presentation was recorded, so far we've collected 144.38 kilograms of litter and involved 144 volunteers, which is incredible, really, that we've managed to physically remove that much waste from areas within Plymouth. All of these areas that we've litter picked and surveyed have then been uploaded to another online mapping resource, which will be able to demonstrate the composition of the plastic litter that's entering the marine environment. And then we'll be able to identify potential targets to reduce the amount of litter entering the environment. So within this work package, we also have identified and are removing angling waste and old end-of-life boats from hotspot locations within the area. So we're also working with mooring associations and local harbour authorities to do this. So in the picture on the bottom right, you can see an end-of-life boat, which we removed from the Catwater area within Plymouth. We removed, I think it was 12 boats, totaling about 15 tonnes of plastic. And what happens with boats is when they're in the water, they slowly degrade, which makes microplastics, which enter the water system, which then are ingested by animals. So we've removed the boats. We've also installed angling bins, as you can see in the top right-hand picture. The angling bins are still kind of under review, but the idea is that they're in locations where anglers are in particularly high concentrations, so that when line gets snapped or the gear is at end of life, it could be disposed of effectively, then recycled. We're also going to be engaging a vast variety of recreational anglers from across Plymouth to help promote best practice around how to effectively dispose of line. We will also in future be doing 6 dive cleans. So the dive cleans, that's 6 minimum. The dive cleans will be in, again, hotspot locations from within the Plymouth area, identifying where there's potentially snagging zones for anglers, so where a lot of angling line ends up getting disregarded. We'll also be installing cigarette ballot bins across Plymouth, where they will hopefully be used to be a more engaging way of promoting smokers to dispose of their cigarette butts effectively. And we'll also be trialling the 6 angling bins within the catchment area. And then finally, moving on to the third and final work package, enabling transformative change. This is the work package where we're most involved in. So within this work package, we are working with Environment Plymouth to develop plastic-free charters for businesses, communities, tourism and leisure groups and schools. These charters will be advertising best practice around plastic pollution, disposal and supply chain. And the idea behind them is that the organisations will sign up, making commitments to reduce their overall use of plastic, to completely avoid single-use plastic, and to then have effective ways to dispose of said plastic. So to date, we've had 14 organisations sign up, and we're working away at getting schools signed up. Our target is to have 50 different organisations, 50 different schools, 20 tourism and leisure groups, and a variety of community ambassadors to lead this area. I'm also writing a plastic-free events protocol, which will have guidance and a very clear set criteria that events within Plymouth must adhere to in order to undertake the events. The events will involve ensuring that there's absolutely limited use of plastic, that can be avoided, and that any plastic that needs to be procured is procured effectively and as sustainably as possible. This protocol will eventually become compulsory for all people undertaking and delivering events within Plymouth. And we're also going to be installing 250 yellow fish markers, which are little signs that go on drains to help raise awareness that the drains eventually connect to the ocean. So people who flick rubbish down there and, cigarette butts have more of a connectiveness to the actual end result of them littering. Also within this work package, Plymouth City Council are leading on delivering a citywide partnership called Britain's Ocean City Plymouth's Plan for Plastics Task Force, which is a group of organisations from across Plymouth who are working to ensure that they are adhering to best practice around plastic use in Plymouth, who come together to discuss, lessons learned, potential ways to connect, different opportunities for projects to help reduce plastic pollution, and to generally network around sharing of best practice. So again, the task force consists of a variety of organisations, from again academia to commercial to independent organisations to pressure groups to there's a vast range of people where we have a real vast range of expertise, which again is really valuable. We're also going to be developing a central directory and website which is focused around the task force, so that best practice and lessons learned can be shared not only internally within the task force, but then externally to other people within Plymouth. And then finally, we were developing and working with artists to develop 2 waste sculptures which will be made entirely from end-of-use plastic to help advertise and raise awareness around plastic pollution. And then the idea is that potentially one will be a receptacle for waste, and that also potentially the other one will be a sculpture made entirely from end-of-use plastic that can then be recycled or passed on to ensure that we are utilising and following best practice around plastic. So that's just really the tip of the iceberg around what's going on in Plymouth around the Preventing Plastic Pollution project alone. Also within Plymouth, we have loads of organisations who are doing incredible work around plastic, and just within the Preventing Plastic Pollution project, we're also trialling sea bins. We're also doing a large variety of projects. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. But thank you very much for your time, and I've put a couple of links on screen so everybody can, if they were interested or wanted to get involved, they can have a look online and then potentially contact me. So thank you very much.